Hey Rodney, iConnectivity, and the big news is you've got the new PlayAudio12, which we covered on Sonic Talk this week, and we were quite excited by this because it's a very niche product but still really cool. So
it is definitely a niche product, but it's a niche that nobody else is in. There's literally no other product like this on the market right now. It's called the PlayAudio12. It's an audio and MIDI interface. It does both. And it's very unusual because, for a start, it's got no inputs. There are no audio inputs on this whatsoever. But what it does have, it has 10 audio outputs on the back, and because that's as much as we can fill in the back of the space. 10 audio outputs on the back, and stereo headphone on the front, so that's why it's 12. It's 12 outputs. What's unusual about these outputs as well is that the whole thing is designed for live use. So with a lot of audio interfaces out there, if you plug it into a PA and the engineer hits the phantom power, the magic smoke disappears and you've got a brick. These are all protected for phantom power, so that it doesn't matter if your live engineer fires phantom power over all channels, it'll keep working. It's got Ethernet as well. That does MIDI over Ethernet, RTP MIDI. That's on Windows, Mac, and iOS. You can do MIDI over Wi-Fi from iOS and Mac as well.
Yeah, really useful that.
Yeah. It's got a USB MIDI host port here. I can plug in up to 8 USB MIDI devices on a hub. So it'll do 8 USB MIDI and 4 Ethernet MIDI. And then we have 2 computer connections here, and I have 2 separate computers plugged in at the moment. And both of these computers can be used at the same time. So what's key about this product that no other product does, it is built for redundancy. It's designed so that I can run the same setup on each computer, whether that's backing tracks, soft synths, whatever I want to have. Because the biggest problem you have, if you're depending on computer for your audio, if that computer crashes live, you're in a lot of trouble. Because rebooting the computer is going to take you a minute, maybe, and that's an awfully long time when there's 20,000 people in front of you.
You want to get some pretty good jokes there, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. So what this one does, it's redundant. If one computer fails, the second computer automatically switches in. So you'll see here on the front panel, you see this little green flashing light. There's 2 memories inside. If I press, this is a touch panel, now it's gone red, that means the second computer is live. If it's green, that means the first computer is live. Now it's flashing at the moment because the failover system is armed. What that means is, as soon as I press playback here, it's got 12 audio outputs, but it's got a 13th output that's invisible. And that only goes inside the box. So all I need to do is send a constant tone into that output.
Ah, okay.
Right? And it's marked, it comes up inside your DAW's control tone output. And you send a constant tone to that output. As soon as it hears that tone on that channel, it arms itself. It says, I know he wants me to be a failover system. And the moment that tone stops, it switches to the backup computer. So if the computer crashes, if the DAW goes down, if the cable gets pulled out, anything to stop that tone playing, immediately the second computer takes over. And when I say immediately, it's literally immediately. It's within samples.
And does that have to be a constant tone, or is it a rhythmic thing?
Just send a sine wave or whatever through it. Or just send any simple tone generator that goes in there. So, and the speed of the changeover is frightening. When we first thought of the idea, we actually thought, well, we'll probably be able to get it down so there's just a little glitch, that maybe that you'll hear a couple of beats missing or something, but it'll be okay. But we engineered it so well that it actually comes down to it is impossible to hear the changeover.
Wow, and it shares the MIDI as well, so you can have
exactly.
Right.
Not only does it change over the audio, it repatches all the MIDI on the fly. So if you're sending patch changes to a keyboard rig or to like a Kemper profiling guitar amp or something, all your patch changes will go over as well.
So obviously this requires that you have kind of mirror sessions running on the 2 A and B computer, right? Yeah.
That's the plan, is you have 2 completely mirrored sessions. You just clone one computer to the other. So you just run the same DAW or the same main stage or whatever you're running for your virtual instruments. You have them set up the same way. As you play both, if you're playing a keyboard live to your soft synths, you'll be playing both synths at the same time, but only one of them will be coming out.
Because that was so both remote computers recognise that they've got an audio interface attached.
Exactly.
It's not like, no, sorry, I'm not available. Right.
No. They both assume, to the computers it looks like they have two separate interfaces, but they're all in one box. So I play my keyboard, it sends MIDI to both my computers and to both my soft synths, but only one of them is live to the PA.
Right.
And if that breaks for any way at all, the second one takes over immediately and everything just keeps on going.
Okay, here's something a bit meta for you.
Yep.
Can you have two of them and run a redundancy?
Yes.
Okay.
No, you can actually stack them. If 10 outputs isn't enough, you'll see here there's a control in and out here at the front. The control in is a foot switch connector. So if you want to change manually, you can also change manually with a foot switch.
Right.
So, and I don't expect most people to do that, but there may be incredibly rare cases when your computer hangs and the note keeps going.
Panic button.
Yeah. So that's So there's a foot switch
that's
panic
risky.
button.
It's like, don't touch that switch. Don't touch that switch.
Yeah.
Oh, I touched the switch.
I would. Yeah. You can also switch it from the front panel because it's a touch panel. But the cool thing is it's got a control out as well, and you can use that to go to the control in of another one, and you can just stack those up. So when one switches over, either manually or automatically, it sends a signal to all the others to switch as well. So you can rack them up and they will all switch over in parallel to each other.
Right, so you can't...
So if 10 outputs isn't enough, and it should be enough for most people, but if you want 20, you just get two of them, make an aggregate device, and they will both be completely redundant.
And could you aggregate it with something that acted as an input as well?
As a what, sorry?
As an input. So if you aggregated another audio interface, say another one of yours, and aggregate that so you get inputs for maybe effect processing, or is that a bit too...
I'm not sure about that. We haven't tried that. And one thing we have tried that a lot of people don't realize is that you can actually daisy chain or MIDI interfaces using the host port. So if you need more DIN ports, for example, you could get a MIDI 4 Plus, you take the USB out of that and put it into the USB of that, and it just becomes a bunch more DIN ports and a bunch more Ethernet ports. So you can stack up and build really big modular, the whole thing is modular. So you can build a modular system with that as the heart of it for a live performance.
And what's the UK retail? I think it's about $600, isn't it, or something like that?
600 is the recommended retail. We're expecting it to straight for somewhere around the 500 mark. We'll see.
UK pounds.
UK pounds.
Right.
Somewhere between 500 and 600.
But the alternative is.
The alternative is incredibly expensive. Well, to do audio redundancy is difficult enough because you need two interfaces, plus you need a very big, expensive analog switcher box, and you need a 19-inch rack to put it all in.
And the switch, and relays to
yeah, exactly. So you're talking a minimum £2,000–3,000 to do any other system, but to do the MIDI switchover, that's actually even harder because you've got to have two MIDI interfaces, but you've also got to deal with the fact that if your MIDI switching over, you can get hung notes. This one automatically will drop any hung notes and start it up again.
So you might lose the voicing of a pad,
yeah,
but it's better than the whole show.
It's better than losing the entire show, yeah. So yeah, it's an all-in-one system. So the alternative, spend 2,000 or 3,000 if you're lucky and get a roadie, or get a half-rack box like this and put it in a case.
Excellent.
We've beta tested this with a couple of guys. Kendrick Lamar's people are beta testing it right now. They love it. A guy called Steve Primo did a video for us.
Yeah, that's where I saw it. Yeah.
And he's building a little Pelican case that has one of these and a MIDI 4 in it. And that case is going to be a completely redundant rig that literally lives in a briefcase. And you literally just open it with the computers. You just open it up, take the computers out, plug it in, and it just works. And that's the entire system. And his previous system was a rack this high. So we're very, very pleased with that, and people are going crazy. I actually got a phone call at 10:30 last night from Justin Timberlake going, we need this now. So
what, in person?
It was Justin Timberlake's guy who does Justin Timberlake's people going crazy over it.
Yeah, well, that's incredible. I mean, I think the thing is the fact that you can chain them and get multiple outputs. That's really handy, because that was one of the things. Oh, I need more than 10. Well, get them.
Right. Yeah. Well, you can use the headphone socket for 2 more outputs if you need 12. Though the headphone socket isn't balanced the same way as the other 10 are. What we did do with the headphone amp in this is about 3 times as powerful as the headphone amp in any other interface, because we realized that if you're doing if you're doing a festival or you're trying to backstage with another band playing, you can't hear a damn thing. Or if you're the drummer on stage and you're having to control the live backing tracks, which a lot of drummers do, you really need some power. So this thing can be wound up to extreme levels, so you can monitor no matter how loud the ambient noise is around you. Just be careful about your ears on that one. But,
of course, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Rodney, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, but do you want to see the new software?
Oh, all right then, let's have a look.
Okay, let me show you the new software. One of the problems we had before was our devices have so many inputs and outputs that some people were having difficulty trying to figure out how to patch them together. So this is a beta of our new software. It's called Oracle, A-U-R-A-C-L-E. And what Oracle does, it intelligently identifies your system and patches it for you. So I've got a PlayAudio12 connected at the moment. I've got an Audio 4 Plus connected at the moment. And I can select any of these devices. But I'm just going to run you through the setup wizard. Here's how you set up a system with Oracle. You press Setup Wizard. It knows my name, so it says Welcome Rodney. Tells me what's going to happen with my software. And then it shows me where to plug in my audio outputs. And I can do a speaker test. So I can test my speakers. It automatically sends a test tone from the interface. So if I'm not hearing the speakers, I can tell whether it's between the interface and the speakers or whether it's a computer issue.
Right, okay.
I can then do the same with my headphones. I can test my headphone output. I can select, if I've got more than one computer connected, I can select which is my primary DAW, which is my secondary. And then it asks me to set up my MIDI devices. Now, I've got it plugged into this Audio 4 Plus, which has a pair of DIN sockets. So it knows I have DIN sockets here.
Right.
But this also has a USB MIDI port. So I've got a USB hub, I've got a mini log and an Arturia mini lab plugged in. I'm just going to plug in the hub in the back of this. There we go. And now let's see what happens. And now it automatically detects all of the devices in my system, and it automatically brings them up with their names. It's not just port 1, port 2. It tells me I've got a mini lab, I've got a mini log, and I can say...
Does it pull that from the USB?
It pulls that from the USB, yeah.
Right.
In this version, we can't rename them. The next version, actually can edit them as well. But just being able to get all the information from the system, and I can select whether they transmit or receive MIDI, and that's it. I just do that. Now automatically, great job, you're a genius. Now automatically, it routes all of my devices to my DAW, because I've already said I've got a DAW in this system. So all my keyboards will go straight into my DAW.
Right.
All my modules.
They would appear as what?
They will appear with.
Input.
They will appear with their names in the DAW, whether it's a mini log, mini lab, whether it's the DIN connectors. Right now, we can't query the DIN ports yet.
Well, a system exclusive is a potential.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. It's still early days. And so all of that's automatically routed invisibly. If I want to route directly between devices, I can just do it here. So maybe I want my mini lab to control whatever's on my DIN and my mini log.
Right,
I can
so it's just a checkbox kind of
So it's
system.
just a checkbox. I select the device and do it.
It looks a little, because to be fair, the system that was running on the iPad for the
iConfig for iOS, yeah.
got a little bit kind of cryptic at times, so that looks a lot simpler.
Yeah, our previous software was definitely cryptic. It was powerful,
very powerful.
You needed a degree in astrophysics to really use it. This is designed to, you plug everything in, you run the software, 20 seconds later you're making music.
And can you will it be you can drill down into filtering and all that sort of stuff?
Currently this one doesn't have all the arcane filtering stuff that iConfig has, but that will be added later as we build it. We're still building this right now. We just wanted to build something for guys who just want to get up and running.
Yeah.
And so this will just plug it in, don't worry about it. Audio mixer, we have an audio mixer here. This is for the audio. It'll automatically configure itself for whatever interface you have. This is my input levels here.
Yeah.
My 48 volt. I can go mono or stereo. This is my DAW playing back. These are my 6 outputs, my headphone monitoring. Direct monitor mix, I can direct monitor my inputs here. I can set the DAW level back to my headphones here. It just works.
Excellent.
It's like a big macro editor for
and
all of the
when's that
functionality.
available? Is that available now?
End of this month.
Okay.
we're in beta. We just went into beta yesterday, so the first version of it will be out end of this month. Now, as I say, it won't have all of the weird MIDI filtering stuff that iConfig has, but you can still use iConfig for that if you're a power user. But for guys who just want to start recording, just download it and go. And that's for Mac OS and Windows.
Thank you very much, Rodney.
You're very welcome.